now playing on Sirius Joy. Did you happen to catch our newest show, Moon Wisdom, starring Sirius Joy star Kristen Ryder? This show dives deep into the new moon and the full moon in the season of Taurus. And according to Kristen, the full moon in Scorpio coming up at step 22 is going to be a doozy. And coming up this Wednesday, are you new to Sirius Joy? Because we hold a welcome party every first Wednesday of the month. You'll get a behind-the-scenes tour of the magic, all part of Sirius Joy TV. The Unite the Light Lightworker Summit is reborn in 2025, May 17th to the 19th, reincarnating in Nashville, Tennessee, the capital of country music light. If you live to make the world a better place, we invite you to gather and co-create for 2 days. Day 1, meet curated, heartfelt influencers sharing strategies and innovation. Day 2 calls for conscious conversations. Lightworker power panelists discuss industry urgent topics. And for the first time, you requested, we co-created a third day, a 36-hour, ultra-private, closed-door Whisper Summit. We call it Afterglow, where 2 or more gather, featuring high-wattage leaders of light who share unpublished career advice and trade secrets. It all takes place in the luxurious Gaylord Opryland Hotel, where you may enjoy a full spa, poolside drinks, and tasty dining. And don't miss our Honky Tonk Sumper and Step Networking event happening Saturday night. Wear cowboy attire, feast, and learn astro secrets about you and cosmic allies. Consider this an invitation. Let us celebrate our ascension at the brightest gathering of love in the world. Ticket sales are open now at unitethelight.love. That's unitethelight.love.
Hi everyone, my name is Kristen Marie Miller and I am so excited. I hold a lot of personal boundaries around channeling and I really hold it with a lot of honor. I have seen spirit my whole life and I began channeling Mary Magdalene at the age of 7. Step up, live your authentic life, learn your own sovereignty of who you are. Don't base it on what everybody else says. Find your empowerment.
Step Astrology this week. After a spiritual new moon at Step 7 Taurus last Sunday, April 27th, you've been running a New Age 5D timeline. But now the question is, what parts of your current life are going to go with? Hello and welcome, my galactic family, to Namaste Today Live. I am Sensei Christopher Wotecki, the Sensei to Sirius Joy, here to be your cosmic comedian and help you through your ascension process. And boy, has it been a process. We are currently streaming live on all the platforms we can, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, X.com, and even another version of X. And if you're here in our chat room tonight, hey, say hello to your brothers and sisters. Tell us where you're chatting from, tell us your sign, and say hello to one another. This week, it's going to be a doozy. The top astro headlines are, on Sunday, Pluto stations retrograde at Step 3 Aquarius, which means the old vibes are no longer under attack, but it also means you must defend for yourself what you believe. On Tuesday, Mercury conjuncts Chiron at Step 24. This means you're now certified to attract 5D love. But what the hell does that mean? And then Friday, it's the third Void of God day of the year. The last time we had one, we had a 5.2 earthquake in San Diego. So it begs the question, what will happen this year? But first, let's take a look at the week's moods and your zodiac weather. The zodiac weather is from Saturday, May 3rd to Friday, May 9th, 2025. This week's zodiac weather is sponsored by Sea-Chi Organics. Sea-Chi botanical products are handcrafted by a group of amazing women, herbalists, and aromatherapists, inspired to consciously infuse love and blessings into every item made. It creates timeless beauty. Hurry to Sea-Chi.com and shop now, because every purchase you make between now and May 4th will enter you to win a free reading with yours truly in the May the 4th Be With You contest. Just use program code IAMAWINNER at checkout. As we dive in to look at the weekend forecast for the weather, over the weekend, steps 13 and 14 rule the days. That's an innovation and a realization of what you're worth in daily life. Let's drill down. On Saturday, it's sunny and determined. Step 13 means that Uranus rules today. Expect the unexpected. A surprise may reveal that you're worth more. The mantra of the day is I manifest a higher belief. And the title of the day, Going Directly to the Heart. Thank Goddess the Moon in Leo will make it easy to go directly to the heart and put a positive spin on the day nonetheless. On Sunday, it's sunny and relieved. Step 14 means that Mercury rules the day. That means thoughts and conversation will dominate your awareness. The mantra of the day is I manifest a new opinion. And that's because you are moving and opening up to a new approach with that mind. The title of the day is I feel I finally understand. And miraculously coinciding with your understanding, Pluto stations retrograde for the next 5 months. Moving on to the week ahead, over the course of the next 5 days, from Monday to Friday, you'll find that you accept a new value in yourself, make some commitments, make some changes, and then hold space for making sales. On Monday, it's sunny and chatty. Step 15 indicates that Venus rules the day. This is a creative resting and receiving day. You won't have the energy too much to push, but relaxing and releasing will come naturally. On Tuesday, the mantra of the day is I manifest peace, which foreshadows the title of the day, which is leaning into the karmic clean slate. Now, 2 major aspects do happen. Venus will sextile Pluto around 5:31 p.m. that evening Eastern Time, meaning that you're going to open up now to the retrograde of believing. And later at 9:47 p.m., your final intellectual breakthrough, Mercury conjuncts Chiron, where you intellectualize your healing about the future. On Wednesday, hump day, it's sunny and cutting. Step 17 indicates that Saturn rules the day. Expect a sharp day with fantastic discipline and great self-motivation, but at the same time, it's easy to push yourself too hard. Perhaps that's because the moon in Libra goes back and forth trying to weigh what's fair and just. And therefore, the title of the day tells us what we're being so disciplined about: promoting self-love and public innovation. On Thursday, it's sunny and self-aware. Step 18 indicates that Mars rules the day. Expect yourself to be strong, with willpower and the ability to go on and on. The mantra is I manifest movement, and the title is Acting on My Heart and Values. You'll feel that things move into motion, and oh, by the way, it's my birthday. Happy birthday, Sensei, with a Libra moon. And then on Friday, sunny and breezy is our prediction for the day. Step 19 means it's a grand manifest day of Taurus, and also a net 10 ruled by Mother Earth. In this grand manifest, you grand manifest destiny's calling. The calling comes because you are synergizing your heaven-sent details, your new ego, and your material intentions all in one. And cautious now, it's a Robbie Hunt discovery of a void of God day, where no planets are directly aspecting other planets. We anticipate a day where free will rules without planet interruption. It may be difficult in the beginning with the moon in Libra, as things go back and forth, but once the moon enters Scorpio, void of God or not, the moon in Scorpio will do as all Scorpios do: raise up the stinger and put the venom on stun.
We were told the world works a certain way. Chase success, play the game, follow the rules. But what if the game is rigged? What if your power was never really lost, just misplaced? Soul Capitalist isn't just a book, it's a wake-up call, a roadmap for reclaiming your power and rewriting your story on your own terms. Because changing the world doesn't start with a movement, it starts with you. It starts with creating a world that reflects your highest self. Soul Capitalist is a guide back to your truth, a call to awaken your inner power and lead from the light within. Soul Capitalist, how to take back your power and change the world. Available now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
That's great. Actually, Erica Ilali is one of our executive producers here. She actually runs LOL. She's also going to be a panelist at Unite the Light. She'll be on the second day. That's May 19th. She's at the final panel, which is the Conscious Capitalism panel. And obviously, she's very well qualified. She's a woman that is incredibly intelligent and has done a ton of work to analyze the economy and what's fair. She's a 29-degree Libra, so she is all about what's fair. And her and I probably have the best conversations just talking and geeking out about the way capitalism should be, conscious. Now, with that said, I think we have a lot to talk about. But first, I want to say, if you're watching on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe to our Serious Joy channel, Serious Joy TV on YouTube. And also, if you don't mind, hit the bell button to subscribe. And at the same time, like this video so the algorithm will know to serve you to other people. And if you're watching on other platforms such as Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or our Facebook page or our Facebook club, please also leave a comment because that interaction really helps us to get the word out. We appreciate it in advance. A little favor, if you're watching on YouTube, our Serious Joy TV premier flagship on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe, hit the bell button so you're notified, and please like the video and interact with the video. Give us your comments and suggestions because that helps us with the algorithms to get the word out. And also, if you're watching on our other platforms, Facebook, our Facebook club, Twitter, Instagram, etc., please also leave a comment and tell us what you think and like it if you can, if it's applicable. These things help the algorithm put us out there. Well, folks, we have a lot of stuff coming up this week. Most interestingly, Pluto is going retrograde. I think it's now time we look at our planets in transits. Wow, wow, wow. The world is just zipping by. We're talking about this backstage before we went live tonight. Really, time is speeding up. I'm feeling it. And I don't think it's perception because the way metaphysics work is if you are ascending, you are vibrating faster. And if you're vibrating faster, you are zipping through time faster. So we literally are experiencing, a lot of us, time just moving so quickly. And it just means what seemed to be a day is, and this is happening. I mean, I'll go ahead and blame me being late on everything on this, but the truth is, like, I swear, I think it's 5 minutes to look at the clock. It's been 10. I'm like, whoa, how'd that happen? How'd we get through 10 minutes in 5 minutes? But I think it's a real honest thing to look at because allegedly, if you believe this kind of shift, right now we are going through an ascension period. And that ascension period has actually started. It began last Sunday with the new moon in Taurus, officially started. And why would it be then? Well, it actually did an internal change starting back in March. In March, we started to transition with the karma we were facing. We wrapped up our karma in March, and in Pisces, we faced our own boogeyman, those types of things, our ghosts. Then we moved forward with the new mission, like the direction of the new mission, which meant that our faith inside, we're just following faith based on where we want to go. Then we went through Aries, and this was a huge breakdown and breakthrough because we had to sort of let go of the old, what I call me-go, and launch the we-go, which is basically our hardware for survival. I can go way deep in that, but I can't have the time now. Don't have the time now. And then we move into Taurus, all right? And the thing about Taurus is what we manifest. Now, mind you, there's a lot of deep philosophy behind this idea, but I'll put it quite quickly. The idea is that human souls, all right, are actually up in heaven, or wherever you want to call it, and energetically we project our personality down into this matrix cloud. And what's cool about this cloud is it's part Mother Earth energy and it's part us energy. And we're injected into this Mother Earth energy. What we be is what comes. So we have this interaction ability to create. Now, the truth is it's a dream. Just like if you are in a dream, you can create anything you want. So really, technically, we're making a bigger deal out of manifestation than it deserves. Is it that big of a deal to manifest that you're in space in a dream? So why would it be a big deal to manifest that you're in space here on Earth? It's not. It's that we've made it a big deal and we're kind of caught in certain beliefs and certain pain bodies. But what we're doing now is we are putting in now a new spiritual premise. That's what the new moon was last Sunday, a spiritual premise. And I think this spiritual premise has to do, first of all, with a lot of what we dream about on Earth, a lot of the reasons why we came here in the first place. I've been told by my guides and some others that the spiritual premise that we loaded up last Sunday was actually a leftover premise from ancient Earth. So for many of us, we were rudely ejected off of Mu, or what they call Lemuria now, or we were rudely blown up or sank in Atlantis. And these are huge civilizations from what we understand that were thousands of years old, frankly. They weren't nothing like we've been told whatsoever. The point is we had this unfinished business, and we had this memory of a time when things were perfect. So it may be that all of our hope for utopia is in fact us remembering what it was like. And all of our fears of destruction was also a memory of what things were like. And what we need to do now is resolve that memory and go forward with whichever direction it was supposed to be. So this new timeline, there's one more timeline too, I've been told, which is that some souls came here, star seeds, after Atlantis and Lemuria, and they had agendas. That means souls from other planets who came here to try out Earth. And they were also held back once they got here and realized how dense Earth was and how it wasn't possible to have high vibration, serious intentions on a low vibration Earth. So the population now is moving forward with these intentions. And last Sunday, we had a new moon at 7 degrees Taurus. 7 is spirit, Taurus is I manifest. So literally that new moon says the creation, new moon, of your spirit in a manifestation field. So that was the beginning of it. Now, we'll continue to download or expand this new story inside of us for about 2 weeks or so until we get to the full moon in Scorpio. at which time that full moon in Scorpio, at 22 degrees Scorpio, will shatter sort of the ceiling of the old reality. So we'd all kind of put limits on how life can go, how high life can take us, what our potential is in any lifetime. But those ceilings, those limits, that Scorpio energy was based on the fight or flight old ego. It was based on the old story. It was based on the pain body. It was based on everything we were born to, not what we were born to live. And that's where we are now. We're downloading the story we were born to live. So this week, as we move forward energetically, the week's theme is feeling finally like I understand. So I predict that you will begin to finally start to get it. In fact, actually, I just had a pretty powerful pep talk on our Serious Joy service where I was completely being honest about some of the stuff going on in my life, which doesn't happen often, so you might want to sign up because that's where you'll find it. And I was just talking about how profoundly I realized some things that I have been grappling with my entire life, and it was so simple, the answer. It had to do with self-worth and why things happen to me. But it just finally began to understand. I'm finally feeling like calm about some major questions, which opens up a lot of possibilities too. So I believe that this week you're going to start to feel like you understand yourself. And what's weird is like, it doesn't matter what age you are, it's universal. We're doing it, as a globe together. That is if people are paying attention. Now the subplot of the week is ready to think in more profitable ways. Now, profitable meaning many things, but it goes on to an interesting thing I want to talk about just real quickly, which is that part of Earth is about abundance. And people have gotten into arguments with me recently about this in regards to, preaching ideas about money. There are rich people on this planet who have completely been disrespectful and taken advantage and never given back and robbed and pillaged and like damaged the environment and all those types of things. And frankly, those are just idiots, basically, that have done wrong with the power. They have misused the power. But I'm quite certain the whole reason we're on Earth is to manifest material things. This is a materialistic lifetime for a reason. We're supposed to be materialistic because in heaven, we're just energy. That's it. We can't feel anything. We can't try anything. We can't taste anything. The whole point of coming down this sandbox is to build castles with knowing that they're going to break, they're going to fall apart, and they don't really matter. We know they don't matter, but we wanted to experience them. So you can't graduate Earth and move to the next realm, whatever that may be for your choice, unless you can manifest a lot of energy, because everything off of Earth is much bigger. You have to be able to handle and yield a lot more stuff. I gave the example in my latest pep talk that, the planets, the sun, these are souls. These are souls actually being these things. It's a soul named Ra that is the sun. And Mother Earth is known as Gaia. This is a soul. And look at how big she is. Look at how much she had to expand. Look at how much power and energy she had to acquire, understanding and learning and growing, lifetime after lifetime, or whatever you want to call it, for her, I guess, species. I don't even know, class of spirits. So, as we move through Taurus, you should know you are supposed to manifest. You are supposed to have more. You're supposed to have nice things. You're supposed to try things. You're supposed to experience things. That is what we came here to do. That is the whole point of not being in heaven. It's just that we don't want to go to a point where we hurt others, or we steal candy from babies, or we are too greedy. I also feel like when you are abundant, it's very good to give and share too. That's a good thing too. We have people who are greedy and don't share. Not my style. In fact, I've shared too much, even at this point right now. So our question of the week is, can I really trust these new ideas and where they came from? And that's kind of what's going to happen. A lot of new ideas coming, even for myself. A lot of epiphanies, like a lot of oh, wow, that's what I should do. And I've been wondering what I should do for a long time. So I'm getting a lot of solutions coming in. I'm getting a lot of big ideas that are, in my opinion, brilliant, but it's all about my life. So of course it is. And the question is, can you trust these feelings? Well, yes. If your heart lights up, the answer is yes. Remember, you believe something if your heart, step one, feels it's true. 1 to the 2. If your heart, step 1, feels it's true, step 2, then step 3, you believe. That's how consciousness works. It grows like that. So if your heart feels it's true, it is true. And we're at a point now where we're going to be operating in this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for a long time, because we're creating this new story. We're creating this new dynamic. We're creating this new identity, and this new storyline. And so as you're creating it, you haven't yet created all the evidence that supports it, because remember, we don't think until step 5. So it's going to be a while before we get to the step system of 5, where we all start to think this makes sense. And you have to suspend the idea that you're going to be clear on the ideas, or be able to trust the ideas entirely, because the conscious is not yet ready to get to an idea. You have to trust the feeling, and you have to trust your heart. So go forward in that direction. Let's take a look at the week then. This week, now it's going to be a doozy. This weekend, first of all, is a little, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Rambunctious. That was the term I'm looking for. We have step 13 and step 14 on Saturday. And so we spend this whole week basically coming into our integrity, right? So step 9 is on Tuesday. Step 8 was Monday. Step 9 was on Tuesday. Step 10 on Wednesday. We hold space. Step 11 on Thursday. And step 12 on Friday. So as this show airs, we're at step 12, which means we've come into ourselves and now we're ready to look out into the world. And the question is, now that I have this new inner story in me, how much of my life is running at that level? How much of my life is manifesting at that level? And the other big thing that's important to know is, for the most part, your new inner self ought to have more value, have more soul capital. You ought to value yourself a lot more now than you did before. Part of it is just because you get rid of the pain body, you get rid of the problems. It leaves a lot of light, it leaves a lot of opportunity. But also part of it is that we're supposed to grow bigger and we're supposed to be stronger. And so we have more soul capital to spend. So in many cases, as you look out into your life, you realize it's not on the level you want it to be. And that's a good thing, all right? So it's on Saturday that we have that realization. Saturday's at step 13 Taurus. It's a breakthrough day. So we're going to find that, it's not what our heart believes. This is not what I asked for. This is not what I want anymore. And rather than get upset or hurt, get excited. This is what we mean by celebrate ascension. Celebrate. This is awesome. If you're not happy, well, here's the good news. You're not supposed to stay here. You're supposed to grow. And you can manifest anything you want. So I think step 13 on Saturday is going to be a bit of an eye-opener, if you will. And the moon is in Leo, so our heart's going to take it personally or get excited either. Sunday, we have step 14. So step 14 is where on Sunday you're going to get an idea. That's when you start to understand everything. And you realize, I don't belong here, but I think I belong over there. Now, what's interesting is, as soon as you break down on Saturday and you break through on Sunday, Pluto stations retrograde on Sunday, about 11:27 a.m. East Coast time. And Pluto stationing retrograde means the universe has nothing else to destroy, all right? So as Pluto plows forward, it destroys everything in its path. All that consciousness, that comfort level around the consciousness, the boundaries around the consciousness. And so once Pluto retrogrades, it now backs up, so to speak, and pulls away from the damaged scene, if you will. But it's not damaged, it's just being recycled. So the fact that we figure out we don't belong here, and we think we might belong there, and then Pluto's like, okay, I'm done, pretty much is a sign that it's going to be final at that point. Pluto will retrograde for 5 months, where you'll be able to look and see how you might want to make changes, and then Pluto will go direct again and do another plow, basically. So we end the weekend going, I don't know where I belong, but I know I don't belong here. I don't belong in this life the way it is. As we move into the week then, Monday, it's step 15. So we begin to open up and we accept that, yes, it needs to change. My heart wants something different. My heart desires something different. The moon will be in Virgo at that time, so we're going to be feeling very much the old life and wanting to feel the new. The weird thing about Virgo is that it's what we become. So when the moon's in Virgo, you're really feeling like the reality that we're in, and we often get confused and we get disappointed or afraid that we're stuck in what we feel. But what you're feeling is what is. You're not feeling what will be. So try not to get caught in that. But I think it's going to be a creative resting and receiving day on Monday. I think you're going to feel calm and ready for cool ideas. On Tuesday, we get a little anxious, and Neptune rules the day. So Tuesday is really where you pray to God consciousness, pray to your higher self, open yourself up, try to download, what's the best thing to do, and you'll probably have some sort of inspiration. Venus will sextile Pluto, so that means that for the first time, we're going to open up to our belief in ourselves being tested. So you'd have to really, double down on what you believe about yourself. And then Mercury conjuncts Chiron later, which means that our mind is going to accept that we're ready now for new relationships too. And that's a whole nother story, by the way, that 5D relationships are ready to happen. Then on Wednesday, hump day, it's going to be step 17, which means on Wednesday, you're going to decide it's time to change your life. That you want things to be different, and you know what it is, and you know the first thing to do. And so remember, step 17 is how we decide things in a holy way. Our heart, step 1, and our soul, step 7. When our heart and soul agree, it's time to make the decision, time to make the call. The other thing about this is going to be a Libra day, so I think Wednesday might be back and forth. It's like, if you're like thinking about writing someone a letter or something to tell them the truth, I'm sure you're going to write it, you're going to erase it, you're writing, you're going to erase it, you go back and forth because it's going to be kind of hard to take that power for yourself, but it's worth it once you do it. Thursday, step 18 rules the day, so we get going. And Thursday will be my step birthday, by the way, so happy step birthday to me. And this is interesting because On this day, the universe is calling for you to take that first step. And if you know me, all I do is take first steps. I just never take the final one. I'm just always on the path. So 18s are kind of like running like forever, like Energizer bunnies. And so be careful. You might, you're a novice at this. Take it from a pro. You want to take it easy, but it's a good day to take that first step and show the universe you are serious. And then on Friday, step 19, which is a Grandmaster step. That'll be my calendar birthday. And on that day, we have what we call a Void of God day. And this is something that Robbie Hunt discovered and our crew and our Monday morning meetings. No planets will be aspected to each other for the entire day. And the last time this happened, we had an earthquake, literally during that time from San Diego. So we've noticed that things get a little haywire when God Universe pulls out. There's only 4 of these days in the whole year, and they're all within this month of April and May. Kind of interesting. So that's the scope of the week. Now let's take a look actually at the planets themselves to get an idea of the scope of our states of awareness. Alrighty. Okay, on Taurus energy, the heart of Taurus will run from step 13 to step 19 over the course of the week. And this means that basically we start with this innovation on Saturday, and by Friday, we're already manifesting the story that we want. So we move forward and we hold space and say, this is going to be what it is. Uranus stays at steady 26. So Uranus at 26 says, we're going to keep innovating that final goal. 26 is the final goal. And so as we figure out what we want in daily life, we also keep the ball, moving as far as what's possible. And remember, the full moon, as I mentioned in Scorpio, will be where we shatter our glass ceiling. So we'll probably have some new opportunities or new goals by the time the sun gets to that degree. Incidentally, the sun will conjunct Uranus on May 18th, where Unite the Light is going to be. So we're actually having Unite the Light on the day that the sun conjuncts Uranus. God help us. In the Aries consciousness, the I Am, we have a lot of stuff going on. Neptune's at step 1 Aries. That means that our heart is really lined with God right now. And this is a very rare thing. The last time we had Neptune at 1 Aries, we were on the Civil War was starting, basically, and Abraham Lincoln was president. So it's been a long time. We weren't there, obviously, or maybe we were. But this is where everyone's really feeling the love of God. And I can just only imagine that both sides of the Civil War probably felt like they felt the love of God. And so that was what made them, I think, justified their mission. So I think we're also feeling justified on what our mission is right now. Mercury this week, our mind goes from step 16 to 28, Aries. So our mind's going to just zip through all the details necessary, all the things that have to be done in our new life and what we want to get done. Venus is now in Aries, and she's now in detriment. So what that means is that Venus is only willing to open up so far as what the ego will let you. All right. Now, mind you, this is a new ego. So I don't think we're dealing with the dumb part of us, the dumbest part of us. We just shed that off when we were in Aries. So we got rid of that old ego. But even then, the ego is defensive. It's about shutting things down. It's about pushing things. Venus is about pulling. And so our normal capacity to accept stuff will be dimmer right now. But that probably makes us focus on a real clarity of where we're going to open up to and where we will not open up to. So Venus this week has us opening up to all of our strength from step 0 to step 5. So everything inside of ourselves up till thoughts. We're opening up to this new way of operating inside of ourselves. And then Chiron's holding steady at step 24. Remember, step 24 is the Grandmaster step of relationships, the Grandmaster step of Libra. And that means that right now we are healing the idea that we could have high vibration relationships in the future. Most conversations I've had with people recently about love and marriage has been forget marriage. A lot of people, even actually a lot of gay people. I've met a lot of gay people out here in Palm Springs, and they're getting divorced. They tell me a story, and they're saying never again. So it's funny because I think the human race is tired of being tied up in that kind of relationship. But interesting, Chiron 24 says, whatever that is, you're going to be healing that now. And that means that new vibe 5D relationships are just around the corner. Once Chiron gets to 25, it's possible. Now moving into Pisces. Pisces has Saturn and the North Node, of course. Saturn this week moves from 27 to 28 Pisces. Now that's significant because 27 is get going, let's do this. It's been there for a while. And Saturn is, you will do it, is the commander in chief. But 28 is when we actually begin to manifest the new story. So we begin to actually manifest our legacy and our destiny this week. That's exciting. I think that means they're going to see some details, especially meeting important people and soul contracts that are important to it. The North Node is at step 26 all week long, which means our overall consciousness is trying to commit and devote to this new story. So I think that's a good thing. We'll talk about the South Node in a minute. First of all, let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter in Gemini this week goes from step 21, which is the Grandmaster step of Jupiter, to step 23, which is the Grandmaster step of Mercury, or thinking. So in essence, this week alone, we begin having a new theory about the future. Then we have a quantum moment when it goes to 22. So there's a couple days where it's like 22, and we're just like, we don't know what is up or down. So expect to be a little confused for a couple days. And then the week ends with Jupiter at 23, which means that we now have clarity. This is also one of the reasons why we said we're beginning to understand. So some real starting foggy about the future, then getting clear about the future, or focused about the future by the end of the week. Then Mars. Mars comes out of shadow. Thank goddess. Mars actually went from step 6 all the way down to Pisces 20. What was it? No, it was actually Cancer 26, I think. I can't remember now. And so Mars is just now recovering from that damn retrograde. Mars is basically at the place it was in December of 2024. And so what this means is we have all fresh new ability and change. Mars goes from 6 to 9 degrees Leo. Leo is the self-love energy. So we're going to push, our ego's going to push to accept our self-love, 6, to bless our self-love, 7, to commit to our self-love, 8, and to act on our self-love, 9. So we really graduate loving ourselves this week and put it into motion. That's exciting. Then I want to talk about actually the South Node in Virgo. We talked about the North Node in Pisces, but the South Node of Virgo is at 26 degrees Virgo. And what's important about this is that you're going to be basically breaking contracts all week. So we've all made certain promises. I hope it wasn't until death do you part. It's kind of hard to make a promise for the rest of your life when you're young and don't know what you're doing. But there'll be a lot of contracts that we promised and devoted to that we're just going to realize we're going to tear up that contract. Or it'll be torn up for us, or pensions will fall, or, so expect things to fall apart and expect things to sort of break apart, especially deals, alliances, relationships, obviously, but also commitments. I was once committed to this. I don't care anymore. So a lot of that. So try not to focus on what's falling apart because it was bound to regardless. Focus on what you're committing to in the future and focus on what you have faith in the future, the North Node. Then there is Scorpio. And I forgot to talk about this last week, by the way, so sorry. Black Moon Lilith is transiting Scorpio. Now, Black Moon Lilith, first of all, is your worst and deepest, darkest fear, right? So your pain, your fear, your traumas, all the things you processed, that you hate to process. And she this week is at step 4. So anywhere where you have failed to love yourself and gotten hurt, you're going to revisit that shadow. I'm going to say it again. Anywhere where you forgot to love yourself or failed to love yourself and you hurt yourself, you're going to revisit that wound because you're going to realize you have to let go of the fear. And you might be afraid to love yourself because you might subconsciously think that if you do, you're going to get hurt again. No, that's just a fear. That's a trauma. But it's going to be dark. It's going to be difficult for some, me included, I think, because that's one of them. It's for me. And then finally, Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, as we mentioned, goes retrograde on Sunday, but stays at step 3. This means you must believe in yourself and you must not waver. It means that nothing's going to help you to protect it. So you're going to have to do the due diligence to protect that. That means you don't let your own Aunt Lily get in the way, or you let TV get in the way, or you let your partner get in the way. You let no one get in the way. If you believe in yourself, hold steady and be strong. All right, that's all we have for the planets and transits. Let's now take a look at you and your soul horoscope.
Hello, I'm Sanandra, founder of CT Organics. For the past 30 years, our goal has been to bring the healing power of plants into your everyday life with simple, clean, organic skin and hair care made with love. From now through May the 4th, we are running a very special promotion for our free 1-hour astrology reading with our beloved Sensei Christopher Witecki. Enter code word IAMAWINNER at checkout and you'll also receive 15% off. May the 4th be with you.
Remember the sacredness of your body within every moment. Expand courageousness and joy within every breath. Through martial arts, music, breathwork, fascia movement, mindfulness, and play, Soul Within Flow guides you to express freely while grounding deeply. Discover the art of being.
The world is starting to catch on to human design. But what is it? Through combining astrology, the I Ching, the Vedic chakra system, and the Kabbalah, human design provides you with action-oriented strategies to align with your unique energy.
Are you tired of the same old thing? Register today to get a code for 25% off a human design report or a free report with the purchase of a session.
Welcome to the rest of your life. Welcome to human design.
Beautiful. I love that open. So horoscopes, this is the part where we talk about you and the 12 signs. You'll notice we've had some changes. We used to cut out each horoscope and put them out there on their own little mini thing, and it got some traction. People liked it. But for the most part, we found that it just didn't make as much sense. It just created more work for people because they had to find one and find another, and then find the third one if they want a third one, find their husband if they want to find. And it was just like a lot of work for our staff, a lot of work for people watching. And, it's what YouTube wants you to do. And we're like, fuck it, we're going to do what we want. So we're actually now keeping the Namaste Today, the entire show intact. And we're putting in timestamps. So you can come back to the show at any time. Go click on the timestamp for Scorpio, Taurus, or whatever. Come watch it again. We think that's a more efficient use of the electrons and also of the calories of our people. Now, that said, we're going to talk about four things. I'm going to talk about four things today when it comes to your horoscope for the week, your soul horoscope. One, what's the sun mean? So the sun goes from 13 to 19. What does that mean for you? I'll talk about what the sun is going to do for you. That means what is your heart choosing, the choice your heart is making, and what you'll be manifesting by the end of the week. I'll then talk about the other side of that, which is the Earth in Scorpio. And with the Earth in Scorpio, okay, that means that as you are creating new stuff in Taurus and setting stages for it in light casting, you're also, the Earth in Scorpio, closing things down and, reorganizing things. You're either letting things stay or letting things go, one of the two. So it's like you're in or you're out. That's Scorpio, black or white. So we'll talk about those two sides and how they balance each other. Then we're going to talk about Pluto retrograde in Aquarius means for you. And recognize we're in a state where it'll be about 5 months that Pluto's retrograde. And so for that 5 months, I'll talk about where you have to stay strong. And then lastly, remember I said Mercury conjoins Chiron, which is going to be on Tuesday, May 6th at 9:47 p.m. And this is when your mind finally accepts the 5D love. So I'll talk about how you accept 5D love or 5D relationships and where that plays out in your life and in your world. All right. And of course, I'm going to take a little water because I am thirsty. We're in the desert. Glad to get a glass. Starting with the Aries. Aries, you are this week focusing on productivity. Step 13 to 19 Taurus for you is your ability to produce things. Put things together, bake a cake, balance the checkbook. I mean, that middle degrees of getting things done in a financial way, paying off debt, finding new revenue. So it's really how you build your money, your resources, etc. And of course, hopefully you have better self-esteem. Now that new moon gave you a new shot of self-esteem. And so now you ought to feel much better, and you probably should get rid of the things you don't have to invest in and let the expensive things go. So you're going to grow in productivity this week. Now, what's going to happen with the Earth in Scorpio is, as a result of having new values, you're going to actually close doors, a lot of doors. You're going to let people go, let things go, end things that basically lowered your value, that made you feel less than. Maybe closing accounts like credit accounts and things like that, where you just don't want to be in debt. So you're like, screw it, I don't want to do that. And it could be also that you open up at the same time to new intimacy, because now that you feel good about yourself, you might be open to things that also feel good or things you feel you deserve. Now, it was wrong to give yourself a classification anyways in the beginning, but nonetheless, now that you feel more valuable, you'll feel you deserve other things. So I think you'll make a lot of private choices in the background of how you're going to open or close the door. And, folks, if an Aries stops talking to you this week, I told you so. Now, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius means that you must believe in yourself when it comes to where you are in society. So society doesn't know where you are either. Last time we heard, you guys were soldiers and you push people around. We have no idea that you're changing, right? So we don't know where you belong. You have to tell us where you belong, and you have to believe it, because whatever you're believing is probably something kind of weird that we've never seen before. So really stick to your beliefs. It doesn't mean you have to fight, but walk away. Don't argue. Just stick true to your belief in yourself. And then lastly, Mercury conjunct Chiron is pretty awesome because it affects you the most, because it's in Aries after all, and 24 degrees. This means that you're going to create the perfect relationship now, or pave the way for the perfect relationship between your personality and the world. So Aries have had a lot of trouble with PR, because sometimes you're a little aggressive, you're impulsive, sometimes you're, a little violent, sometimes you push too hard. I mean, you're the ego-based sign. And so I think you've had a lot of public relations issues. But now your mind and Chiron will come together, and you'll realize what it takes for you to be authentic to yourself, but also to end whatever trauma or drama you've had with people. Taurus. Taurus says, moo, it's my birthday, moo. Taurus, you are going to be moving from experimental behavior to knowing how you want to act. So you're changing the way you behave, the way you respond, the way people, look at you, talk to you, and how you respond to them. You're getting maybe a personality upgrade. I actually am. I'm actually getting photos this week and all sorts of stuff. So it's funny how that happens. I didn't even plan the date for that shoot. It just happened, right? So really your character, who you're known for, what your potential is, you either do dishes or don't do dishes, or you do this or you don't do. So a lot of change of operations and how you do things, but also a change of how you respond to things, right? You might be really kind of lowering the axe, letting things down, your defensiveness coming down, because Tauruses are feeling more positive and they're treating yourself a lot better in that first decade. Now, while this happens, it means that you're going to do a lot of partnership and marriage changes. Tauruses are going to change the rules with human relationships. In fact, my podcast, I just did, the pep talk I did this weekend, talked about how I'm changing the rules. Like, I used to give it all away. No more. I'm not going to give it away anymore. So a lot of my rules I've had in relationships, I'm completely changing and revamping because I'm valuing myself now for the first time. So I think you can too. Now, the Pluto retrograde for you is in leadership and legacy. So this is where Tauruses have been challenged. You have had to believe in yourself. You're probably pushing a certain idea, probably creating something we've never seen before, and people don't believe you can do it. They don't believe that you have the right path. They don't believe you, right? And so Tauruses have had to double down and believe in themselves. You know you have the vision you have. If you're going to pay for it, you might as well own the belief of it. And so you got to stay true to what you believe about yourself and your future and your legacy. And then lastly, the Mercury conjunct Chiron for you is really a new day and a new relationship to God. And really finding that 5D relationship to God, which is not as what you may think. I mean, for me, it's absent of guilt and feeling like I owe God anything. I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel like I have karma or things to prove. So that's part of the new for myself too. But I'm also starting to feel a little glimpse of where this is going. I have to say, it looks pretty exciting. So Tauruses are really going to take it up a notch with spirituality. Geminis, you are basically expanding your connection to spirit. So you're getting deeper in your subconscious patterns. You're putting things together, maybe figuring out who are soulmates and who aren't soulmates, and karma you have with people, and how you always fall into certain situations, and how you have good luck or bad luck. This is all spiritual routines that are starting to become clear now. Starting to get to understand your spiritual routine inside of yourself, the patterns you keep going over and over again. And that's a good thing because, Taurus is where you build value. So for Geminis, if you don't have faith in yourself, you don't feel worthy. So it's good to have that faith. It's good to understand those kinks and to understand how to straighten out those knots that you feel bad about. And you never should feel bad because God doesn't care. Now, the Earth in Scorpio means that while you're polishing this mirror on the inside, you're going to actually be closing down some things in daily life and opening up to things in daily life that you hadn't before. So a lot of lifestyle changes for Gemini. Maybe coming into your body more, better health, maybe cutting away things that are unhealthy, and, maybe even deciding to move to another place because your daily life is not good in that place. So a lot of changes in faith and daily life for Geminis. Now, that Pluto retrograde for you means that you have come to believe in yourself now, but you probably haven't come to convince anyone else, and you don't have to, but you have to hold true about what you believe. Do not let anyone talk you out of your beliefs, and I would just keep your Gemini mouth shut and not bring it up at all. Okay, not about that topic. So think of how you're going to protect that belief in yourself. You've got to keep protecting it until Pluto goes direct in 5 months. And then lastly, the conjunction with Mercury and Chiron means that Geminis have to open up to a new relationship to being popular. So you being popular, you being successful, you have like a lot of bad negative stuff in that direction, thinking it won't be there, or nobody's gonna like you like they like them. I mean, you all have a story, but what this is saying is like, no, that's healed now. You can have whatever your relationship you want to the public. You're not doomed in it. You're not going to be stuck, because of your mom or your dad or how you were set out. You can be anything you want to the world. So start thinking about what the best thing would be. All right, need more water. Cancers, you are kind of figuring out what you belong doing in the world. And for every Cancer reading I've had in the last 5 years, it feels like that's been the case. What am I doing in the world? I don't know where people are. I don't know where to work. I mean, Cancers to me have had a hard time finding jobs, but really what's underneath is that they just don't know where they belong. All right. So I think the thing is that you were worried about being valuable to other people in the world, when the truth is you won't find your place unless you find out what's valuable to you. So I think the real shift is that Cancer's going, oh, I'd be valuable. I feel valuable here. I feel valuable there. And you're basing your life on you. It's a huge thing, right? So I think this week you're going to really kind of come to terms. It's much higher than you thought. Higher position, higher perspective, much better than you thought. Let's put it that way. And as a result, by the end of the week, you'll start manifesting that place in society. Now, the Earth in Scorpio means that you're going to have to close down on some things your heart wanted but can't have. I mean, part of the reason, and it's hard, I think, because Cancers have given their life away to people a lot of times, it's like they are insistent on having exactly what their heart wants instead of asking themselves, well, what else do you want? That doesn't seem available, you know? And so you never asked what else you want because you're kind of like, I deserve this. I give so much to society. No, it's not how it works, actually. You do deserve it, but you also can have everything your heart wants regardless. It's one of God's laws. So you're going to close the door on some dreams. You're going to close the door on some artistry. You're going to open doors to, children, and close doors to children. So a lot of doors closing and opening when it comes to your inner child, frankly. Now, when it comes to the Pluto retrograde, it means that you now believe you can trust yourself. You do. And you didn't believe that before. And with good reason. You've gotten into a lot of hurt and pain. So, it's hard to trust yourself when you keep messing up, right? But now you do believe in yourself. I know it. And so the universe is saying, don't let anything get in the way of that. Don't let your sisters or your brother or anyone in your family talk you out of it because you get really influenced by your family. You believe in yourself, trust yourself, hold that space. Don't change it for the world. And then the Mercury conjuncting Chiron issue is really with leadership. I think Cancers were not really seeing themselves in the high vibration life being a leader or even being a forerunner or even maybe even being a trailblazer. I don't know what you were thinking, but I know that when I talked to you, that was never in the plans. But I think the conjunction of Mercury and Chiron for you means you realize you can be anything when you grow up, and sky's the limit. The only thing it has to be is something you love and your heart opens up to, which is what 24-6 actually means. Alrighty, on to the lovers. Leos. Leo. Woo-wee. I'm Leo rising too, and Leo risings. You are now mapping out the next stages of your career. So this is a career advancement, will be turned into legacy, strategic alliances, facing issues of power, being in power, taking leadership of things. Really, this is the most busy career time of the entire year for Leos and Leo risings. And this year is a big one because you've had Uranus in Taurus for so long. You're ready for a big leap, but because you're heavy and you don't jump, you don't jump that high, you've had to kind of wait until everything was worked out. So you're going to be making some big leaps here when everything is said and done. So you're going to map out that value structure. You're going to map out what's valuable to you in the future, map out where the leadership is. And then with the Earth in Scorpio, you're going to have to shut down to some emotional issues. You've let a lot of emotional issues hold you down, weigh you down. And it's because you were unwilling to face them or nurture them or whatever, or you didn't feel like you had the right because you had a dysfunctional family and you didn't know how. Whatever the story was, you're going to have to now really transform your ideas energetically of what home family is, what security is, and build a nest for yourself and cut everyone else out. All right. Now that said, also the Aquarius retrograde of Pluto hits you in the house of marriage. So you've begun to believe certain things about yourself, and you're right. But now that Pluto's retrograde, it'll be harder to just own it. You're gonna have to continually reinforce it. So you might have relationships try to talk you out of it, or bosses try to talk you out of it, or friends say you're full of shit. But you have to just believe in yourself and believe in what you know. You're good at looking in the mirror, but also be good at believing what you see. And then also, lastly, Mercury conjunct Chiron deals with life purpose. I think Leos felt like their life purpose was what they gave away to. Like, so because you want to be famous or popular or whatever, you basically force yourself down a life purpose that you may not really want to have wanted. You want the fame and the attention, but I don't think you want that purpose. So I think you are making peace with yourself more than anything. But I think Leos are now opening up to a whole new possibility of what they can end up being or becoming. And it also means you might be opening up to a whole new relationship to knowledge. You might be going back to college, might be going to school for the first time, educating yourself and opening up. So fun stuff. I think that, Leos are going to really have a shift in that they believe their purpose can be what they want. And a lot of Leos I know gave up. And now I think you're going to snap back. Virgo, life purpose. You're going to work through the steps of your next life purpose. And you may not know what that purpose is, by the way. In fact, the fact that you want to know the purpose before you start is not how the world works. Virgos always want to be at step 11, like right off the bat. It's like, no, get it from 0 to 10 before you get to 11. But So I don't think you know exactly what the purpose is, but I know you know you're on the right path. And so you're going to sort of work out some of those details and separate, the old purpose from the new purpose. And you'll probably come into an alignment with something that will teach you or show you the purpose also. So keep a lookout for role models any second now. Now, as this happens, the Earth in Scorpio says that as you're changing your purpose, as you're changing your beliefs, you've got to change your attitude and the way you think. Because you have become very defensive and dug in the way you think. And you've been sort of stubborn and closed doors and closed walls because you're up against a lot of opposition and conflict. And so you was kind of guarded and isolated in your mind. And the universe is saying, hey, it's time to release those thoughts, protect what's good in your mind, get rid of the rest, and create a new sense of security in your intellect, in your intellectual ability. Now, the Pluto retrograde in Aquarius says, I know you have a belief about where you are going to go and what you're going to do in your life and how life is going to live. But it's probably something that people don't understand. So, people may be criticizing you for your health condition or criticizing you for your life condition, but don't let anyone get in the way of what you believe about you. You know your body better than anyone. You know what life is better than anyone. And you are the example of how we embody spirit into flesh. So stay and believe in what you believe, okay? And that your lifestyle should be the way it is, and et cetera, et cetera. And then lastly, the Chiron Aries conjunction, Mercury Chiron Aries conjunction has to do for you with, can you change your life? And I think you had this idea that you couldn't, or you could only a little bit, or you can change one part but not change the whole thing. And I think what's going to heal is your mind's going to realize you can transform your life 100%. And it doesn't have to hurt. It doesn't have to be a costly event either. So it's not what you thought. All right, Virgo? Libra, you are working through the steps of changing your life, which means you're changing the boundaries in your life and changing what you value and what you don't value, which then changes the boundaries. So you're basically changing what you think is important and what you think is valuable than what it used to be. And as a consequence of what's valuable changing, you are changing where the line has to be drawn in order to protect you. So Libras are probably making the biggest change right now, the biggest at the moment. And they know it. Actually, when you talk to them, they go like, yeah, I had one Libra this weekend I ran into in the park, and he's just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I know I'm supposed to do it. So a lot of Libras I know don't know what's happening, and that's okay. I'm just telling you so you know. You don't have to know. You just have to know what's the next step. What's the next step? Now, as you're transforming your life, this is closing down boundaries, opening up to things. The Earth in Scorpio means that you are going to actually change some of your boundaries around what's valuable to you and also how you make money. So how you make money will change, where to make money will change, that sort of thing, how you distribute money, what bills you pay now, what bills you don't pay now, all that stuff. So kind of a change in finance as a result. Now the the Pluto retrograde for you has to do with self-love. I think you believe you deserve self-love. Finally believe you deserve self-love, but you're going to have to stick up for that now. People might start to attack it, especially your family. Don't let anyone in. Don't get anyone between your inner child and you. You believe in that inner child, and you be a good parent to that inner child and stay true. And then lastly, the conjunction with Mercury and Chiron says that you're going to actually, this is for you more than anyone. It's a Grandmaster Step 24. That's your step. And so the Libras of the Earth are going to realize a different path to 5D love. I think you're going to realize that the way you're approaching marriage, the way you're approaching commitment was all wrong. It's not your fault. It's what we were doing at the time. And then you mastered on it. You made a mastery of it. But then you're going to find that like this, your old vision of marriage and partnership is completely wrong. It's not what's best for both parties. But the good news is you're going to realize what is. So we're going to get some real cool gold out of you here real quickly. I think it's going to be awesome. And I think that's it for Libras. Yep. So watch out. Libras are changing relationship stories and relationship rules. Excuse me. Scorpio. Ooh, fun. Scorpios, you are mapping out a new relationship paradigm. And so Scorpios are going to relate to people in new ways. And what's different about it is you're going to value yourself first. Scorpios kind of had this old ego of like a knight in shining armor, and that they would be loyal and royal and there for you and die for you and throw your coat down in the water for you. And now you realize that's just bullshit. Like, you need to value yourself first. Everything needs to be based on what do I need, what will value me, and then you change and shift to value the other person in addition. So that may sound obvious because people call Scorpios selfish, but that's not usually the case. I don't find Scorpios being selfish. I find Scorpios being defensive when you've shit on them and you've taken away things from them and you never like apologize or anything like that. So Scorpio is going to have a new value system for daily relationships. These relationships to, business, vendors, students, the whole 9 yards. Now, while this is happening, these changes in your values about relationships, the South Node is in Scorpio, which means you're going to actually have to change some of your behavior and response. A lot of your response patterns, which are automatic, okay, you don't even think about it, it just happens, are based on the old you going to war all the time. You cannot keep putting up your stinger every time you're missing a Coke at 7-Eleven or something out of your bag. You always go right to that war, and you cannot anymore. You're going to make everyone on edge, and you're going to make yourself look like an ass because everyone's getting nicer and you're still stinging. So you're no longer you're beginning rid of things your character is no longer known for, and that's what allows you to also be different in the relationships too. Now, the Pluto going retrograde or at 3 degrees for you deals with the fact that you have to believe in your feelings. You have to believe what your feelings are telling you, and you have to make sure that you don't allow someone else to interject their opinion into how you feel. So, some Scorpios are not even that close to share their feelings, depending on how the wounds are, but it's definitely time to believe in what you feel. Don't let anyone talk you out of how you feel, because how you feel is what your soul's telling you in the big picture. And then the Chiron-Mercury conjunction for you is with lifestyle performance. And this is what I know. I mean, every Scorpio I know is just dreading the future, dreading retirement, dreading their life, stuck in the job, just feeling like you're on a train straight to hell, right? That life is going straight to hell. Now, of course, that was a little exaggerated in Scorpio fashion, but it was looking that way. Things are looking really bad. People are taking advantage of Scorpios. But I think Scorpios now have a new vision of a utopia lifestyle and what that can do and how that can work. And I would say you're right. It's exactly how you do it. I'm saying psychically. All right. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, you are now going to do some changes in your lifestyle and daily performance. So, you want a better life. You want work not to wear you down. You want work to build you up. You want to work in places you think are valuable. You want to frequent businesses with your children you think are valuable. It's like you want to just go to high vibration, high valuable places. So there are some Sagittarius that are kind of materialistic, but not many, okay? But overall, I think your life needs to be valuable to you, whatever that means and whatever that costs. Now, as you're creating this new valuable lifestyle, you're going to actually change some of your karma, and you're going to come to the realization that certain karmic trends are over. So, for instance, if you had karma of living in poverty, and then you lost everything in college, you're going to get rid of that whole thing. You'll get your stuff back, right? Basically, so you're going to have a new faith in yourself, a new faith in God universe, and that's partly because you're going to get a new lifestyle after waiting a long time for that, I think. So that's a big deal. Now, Pluto at 3 degrees retrograde says that you must believe in your thoughts. Okay, so I know you're great philosophers and you're great debaters, but you're not supposed to philosophize and debate yourself. You have your thoughts, believe in what they're telling you, and don't mess with them. And then lastly, the conjunction of Chiron and Mercury means that ultimately you're going to heal the idea that you can find true love. I think you have started to... Sagittarius has started to go down the old maid level, right? Like become the old maid. Like, I'll never get married, I'll never find anyone, I'll never find that perfect person. Well, part of it was because what you were seeing as a perfect person was really like to not be the damage. And you have to have much more definition of the right lover for you to be simply not this guy or not that guy. So you're enriching your definition, and that's why we couldn't find love for you, is because there wasn't enough data for the search, frankly. All right, so is that it? Yep. Indeed. Capricorns. This is fun. Capricorns are now it's time for Capricorns to have fun. And I'm real curious if you're going to. I'm really curious. But it's now time to map out a life that's fun and as a result valuable. Fun meaning it's involving your hobbies, or it's involving a talent you can't use elsewhere, or it's exploring things or it's connected to things. But, basically you're developing your fifth house. I mean, you don't know it's fun. Unless you have fun, we're not going to listen to you as leaders anymore. Sorry. We're tired of boring leaders. Okay, so it's time to find your personal dreams. It's time to find what your heart really wants and to go for it. Now, for you, Capricorns, this means on the other side of things with Scorpio, that you have to let go of some of your control in society. You can't go make sandcastles and control the earth, okay? You have to choose. And in some cases, the things you're holding on to are not because you love them. You're holding on to things so you can collect them, own them, dominate them, be the world's biggest this and the world's biggest that. And so those are all non-spiritual things about commerce. So you are very set up to be the dark side of commerce and the dark side of business, but that is not who you really are at the end of the day. You have choices. We recommend you take them, okay? And then lastly, the Chiron Mercury conjunction says it's now time for you to heal emotional security. I think Capricorns have been sort of obsessed that they had a hard childhood. It was too hard on them, and too hard, whatever that is, whatever that means. And so ironically, they created as adults this hard adulthood of their own. It's because they were subconsciously trained and raised to be poor and have a hard time. So I think you're breaking out of that. That's what I'm getting at. And that's why you were so overambitious with money and everything else. Because you felt life could be bad. So the only way to be secure is to have a ton of money and just overpower the system. And it worked for a while until Pluto went through your sign. Aquarius, you are now focusing on valuable emotional grounding foundation. So similar to what we were talking about with Capricorns, you're going to now really find ways to feel comfortable at home, to feel grounded at home, to use home as a replenishing tool. And what that also means is that your emotional state has to grow. So you're being called to raise out of your immaturity. And a lot of Aquariuses are emotionally immature. It's because you didn't want to change things. You want to change things because it was Taurus was your rock. And so I understand. There's a lot of things I want to change, but I have to wait, right? Because I'm slow. So emotional security, and to build a new emotional security in your life. That might be a new, pathway or a second go at it with family, that too. Just, walk before you run. And while that happens, the Earth in Scorpio is going to manifest for you new career potential. So it turns out a lot of your career has been stunted because you didn't have the family or the foundation to take care of you. And so you didn't know how to, chew gum and walk at the same time. I didn't either. I mean, if I act, I have to be taken care of. I don't want to be cooking and doing other things when I have to, think about being in a role of some sort. So completely okay. But, again, not going to last long without taking care of yourself. Now, interesting enough, what's going to retrograde here for you is that, you used to, Pluto's in your sign. So you've had to believe in yourself and who you're becoming. And a lot of people don't understand what's happening. I'm a little afraid to look at Aquarius because they're not who they used to be. They're like friendly now. And I don't know if it's a trap, and like they're not getting mad at me and they're being tolerant of me. So it's like, I've never seen this Aquarius. So you've got to believe in what you're becoming. You have to believe in how you treat yourself. You got to believe in what you're going to do in the future and really believe in your changes you're making. And you're the new leaders of the new age. So, if you don't know, then shit, we don't know either, right? So pay attention to that. And then lastly, it's important for you to know that when it comes to the character changes that you have going on, you also have to be open to the idea that there's a happy ending. Your Chiron Mercury conjunction is in the third house, which means your mind always goes to the worst case result, or how it could go horrible or horribly wrong. So your mind is sort of obsessed with death scenarios or trauma scenarios. And the truth is that it's your mind that's just wounded on the idea that you can be good and that it can be okay and that people won't steal it and stuff. So a lot of mental healing has to go on for that to happen. And I don't know if I said this already because I get kind of spaced out sometimes by this horoscope, but you're going to have to change some of your goals, of course, in the future, and realize that a lot of your leadership and career stuff that you were aiming for was because you were trying to prove something with your Chiron in the third. You were trying to run from something because you felt bad in your character not being liked by the world. And your emotional home, family, and foundation was shit. So you just want to go out there and be successful. So your career legacy is going to go, if you just be flexible, you'll find that it points on the right path, and it will be not a difficult path. But if you tense up, it'll be tough on that level. Okay. And then finally, the Pisces. Pisces, you are building a new attitude and logic. So Pisces pretty much manifests all from their mind. One of the few signs that does that. And so their mind can just picture it and boom, it shows up. Pretty cool. But the problem is that your attitude is not of this world or of this time. So a lot of you are hosting old school attitudes that come from your karma and not really a fresh attitude for this life. So it's time to redo your attitude. Give yourself an attitude makeover. It becomes the way you think. And then with the Earth in Scorpio, it means that you're going to kind of change the boundaries of what you believe and don't believe. As you shift, your attitude, you shift what's on your library and what you believe in. And then, of course, we want to talk about how life purpose is going to change in the end of things. The attitude change then creates a whole life purpose direction, right? And so the beliefs change, but the big picture is life will be about something else in the end. Now, I say that because of the Pluto. Pluto retrogrades at step 3, and that means that you literally have learned just the beginning of a new faith in yourself. and you are just starting to believe in that faith in yourself. But with the fact that you're changing life purpose and definition, you're changing your mind, you've really got to hold true to what you believe about yourself, because there'll be times when your mind's completely wrong, and the time when your beliefs are completely wrong, and what's keeping you steady is that you believe in yourself cosmically and in the big picture, and that's what keeps you going. And then lastly, this is a fun one. The Chiron Aries conjunction with Mercury says it's time to make some money. So you might have heard at the beginning of this where I talked about how money is important. We come down from Earth to make money, from heaven to make money. We come down to make things and have things. We don't want to hoard over people. We want to hurt people or that stuff. But this is a big sandbox. You're supposed to make things. And guess what? That could not be more true than for you, Pisces. It's time now to go forward and make the stuff you want to make, try the business you want to try, and take this moment where you are spiritually almost purified and you have a lot of energy still, and God Universe is supporting you in making things happen. So I'm excited to see where Pisces go and how they redefine themselves. All right, friends, that is all we have for this week. Yay! I'm not sure we are in time. We'll take a look at that. But given that, we will say, 30 seconds. Perfect. I just want to say, hey, sharing is caring. So please share us with your friends and family. Also, come to our social media. We have some amazing stuff going on right now, clips and all sorts of things. If you could just do us the courtesy of just liking them or commenting on them. We're trying to bust out of this bubble. Social media has kept us in a bubble. We have half a million subscribers at Serious Joy TV, and we don't think all of them get these things because there's just not enough interaction. So please share and interact. We really appreciate it. Remember, we do have a club called SeriousJoy.club. So go to SeriousJoy.club. You can hang out with people and post your advertisements for your spiritual business. That's on Facebook. We have a link tree where you can see all of our social media stuff. But most of for all, we are now going to be on audio version on so many more platforms. Right now, we are on Spotify and Apple products, but we're going to be on iHeartRadio, all sorts of things going forward. So if you want to listen instead of watch, we're going to be there because a lot of people like that format. I respect it. All right, friends. Yay. It's my birthday. I'm excited. Thank you in advance for the birthday wishes. This is my 19th year on the air, so it's awesome. I'll be back next week. And until then, I love you. Live, love, be.
Coming up next week on Serious Joy TV. Bleeding Out Loud is now prime time. Join co-host Sensei Christopher Witecki and psychic medium Scott Cruz Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Every sign has a purpose in the new era. What's yours? Then, on Friday's Astromingle, tune in for a sneak peek interview with our final panelist from the Unite the Light, Build the Earth, Survive panel. Featured guest Wendy Kennedy is a prominent channel and spiritual teacher. Her work includes channeling the Pleiadians and utilizing the language of light and galactic light codes to aid others in aligning to higher frequencies. This is not an episode you want to miss. The best in enlightened entertainment, only on Serious Joy TV.
Hello, I'm Sanandra, founder of CT Organics. For the past 30 years, our goal has been to bring the healing power of plants into your everyday life with simple, clean, organic skin and hair care made with love. From now through May the 4th, we are running a very special promotion for a free 1-hour astrology reading with our beloved Sensei Christopher Witecki. Enter code word IAMAWINNER at checkout and you'll also receive 15% off. May the 4th be with you.
Whether you have answers or you're seeking answers,
there's something here for everyone.
The love that is felt in the room, it's unmatched.
Talking to all these other people in all these different stages of life.
Energy changing, next level.
It's allowing me to have tears of joy, not the tears of sadness that I've had for so long.
They've all been super inspiring.
I've been brought to tears.
I'm learning how to love myself.
I've never felt so comfortable in my life.
It has been a blast. Highly recommend.